He looks like a meth head.
Yeah, he looks like he definitely holds true to whatever he hears on the news. That's the problem.
That guy just looks crazy.
Yeah, he does. And I mean, it's a horrible situation. You know what I mean? Nobody in their right mind would think, like a 6-year-old kid stabbed him to death because of his race.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Crude project. Today, we're going to be revisiting the Israeli-Palestine war.
Let's get into it.
Let's go. All right. Hey, man. What's up?
What's happening, man?
We're back.
Back at it again. Some more unfoldings of the Palestine war.
Yeah, man. It's quite devastating what's happening, huh? I know we covered the first initial attack that happened.
Yeah.
Like, literally, we barely had any information for that, but we wanted to touch up on, like, this crazy event that unfolded. But since then, it's been a week. And since then, it seems like kind of what we predicted the first time around, right? That
Yeah.
it was just going to get worse. That chaos was just going to ensue. Things were just going to get a lot worse. Is kind of what we predicted, what we said the first time around. And it's been a week, and it seems like a lot has happened. A lot more news has come out in just a week. We've seen the death toll rise to, what was it? The total number, I believe it was over 2,500 on like total count, I think. That's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And even now, we got stuff going on our own soil.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Honestly, things like this it makes me lose hope in humanity. And I don't know, man. I hate seeing shit like this because all it reminds me of is people believing bullshit propaganda and believing in that bullshit propaganda and then acting on their emotions rather than using their brain.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole purpose of propaganda. And I mean, sometimes the propaganda they use works out really well.
Yeah,
And
it works out
unfortunately,
really
this
well.
time it worked out too well.
So I woke up this morning, and the first thing I grabbed my phone, and the first thing I'm seeing on social media, man, is the news of a 6-year-old Palestinian boy and his mom being stabbed. The 6-year-old Palestinian boy was stabbed to death multiple times in Chicago by his neighbor. The mom was also stabbed. The kid, unfortunately, did not make it. He's passed away. And the mom is in critical condition right now, praying that she makes it. But even, like, imagine when she wakes up from the critical condition that she is in, and she hears of the news that her little boy's not there anymore. And all because of what? Hate crime, man. Hate crime and bullshit propaganda that was spread in our Western media, and people blindingly just believing all of that, and then going and committing heinous crimes like this. 6-year-old boy, man. 6-year-old boy. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
That's disgusting, bro. That's disgusting. Like, that's the type of shit that I wake up to. In today's day and time, what the hell is going on, bro? Like, what the hell? Like, what the actual hell is that shit?
Yeah,
that is infuriating.
Yeah, it's too much of like you said, it's the Western media. We hold too tight on what we hear on the news, and we immediately take it as the truth and into fruition. And unfortunately, what was this guy, 71-year-old guy from Illinois?
Let's pull up this article really quick and show. So there's a 71-year-old guy in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, is that? Yeah, okay, that's him there, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's him. Click on click on the far right one. Go back. Click on that far right. Yeah. Go down to this guy really quick. Let's see this guy.
He looks like a fucking meth head.
Yeah, he looks like he definitely holds true to whatever he hears on the news. That's the problem. I mean,
That guy just looks crazy.
yeah, he does. And I mean, it's a horrible situation. You know what I mean? Nobody in their right mind would think, like a 6-year-old kid stabbed him to death because of his race or
Where's the kid? Where's the kids? What did the kid look like?
When I look at this guy, I don't think sane person.
no, definitely not.
Bro, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is right there with the little hat on.
You want the hat?
Yeah. This is insane, man. This is the type of shit that pisses me off, bro.
Yeah.
And apparently, all of this, the man, it has been said that the man was enraged from the news of Biden claiming that he saw 40 babies being beheaded by the Hamas group and burnt. Apparently, he committed this hate crime
Out of response
to what Biden said. And then the White House backtracks and says, we actually, in fact, did not see 40 babies being beheaded. And so they're retracting their statement. So basically, you just put out a false statement out into the media. You caused outrage, not just in US, but worldwide. And as a result, people are retaliating to killing 6-year-old children. This is the type of president we have. This is the type of leadership we have in this country, man. This is absolutely disgusting. This is what disgusts me.
Yeah,
this guy is not only putting out false information out there and putting people's lives at risk like this 6-year-old kid being stabbed to death, but he is leaving our goddamn southern border wide open for over what was the number? Hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants just pouring through.
I think it was like 6 million. I might be wrong on
There's
that.
been confirmations of over 100 of multiple different ethnicities, terrorist groups. There's rumors of sleeper cells amongst all of those hundreds of thousands that have been pouring through our southern border because this guy does not care enough to secure his own border, and then he's going about spewing false information out there in the media and causing this type of outrage from people from false information. Man, does this not piss you off? As a human, you have to look at this and say, this was right and this was wrong. And this is absolutely wrong, bro.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's horrible. It's a horrible way to think that like somebody could hear something on the news and want to take action at that sort of a level for somebody that they've never met, they don't know. Like that guy probably couldn't have pinpointed Palestine on a map if
I'm pretty sure he can't pinpoint where Illinois is on the map.
Probably not that either. But that's the sort of level of research a lot of people have, and they want to just take action because they hear things. And that's the unfortunate part. People hear shit on, TikTok, social media, the news, and they hear it first, and it's something that's going to resonate with them because, whatever their own values are, and they take it to heart. And then now shit like this happens. 6-year-old kid gets stabbed by some 71-year-old man in Illinois because...
You know what the crazy part is, man?
Wasn't his neighbor?
It was his neighbor.
It's his neighbor.
It was his neighbor. You know what the crazy part is, man? The crazy part is that everyone wants to condemn what's going on by the Hamas group, which rightfully so.
Yeah.
Hamas, dude, as someone who is seeing this from a third person perspective, from outside the box, looking at what the hell is going on, making judgment calls on what is right and what is wrong, what Hamas is doing is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. But they're condemning everything that Hamas is doing, rightfully so, right? But Why the hell? I have been active on my social media throughout the day. This news came out early in the morning, bro. I was up at 5 in the morning here on the East Coast. I was up at 5 in the morning, and guess what? This was out before 5. So this was out like probably early last night or something.
Wow.
I'm not seeing a shred. And like I said, I've been active on my social media all throughout the day. I'm not seeing a shred of people condemning his actions. What's going on? You don't condemn things like this that happen? 71-year-old man stabbing a 6-year-old to death. That's not being condemned. That's not getting much media attention. That's not getting outrage. But false information about 40 babies getting beheaded and whatnot is getting worldwide attention, worldwide outrage.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it's like
There
like
has
you
to
said.
be some accountability.
Yeah, it's too much of the Western media is being skewed as go Israel, no Palestine. And that's just is what it is. Like even on YouTube, they have ads. Like I was telling you guys earlier, they have ads on YouTube where it's literally telling you Hamas equals ISIS, which gratefully in many occasions it seems, but the problem is that Hamas is getting directly tied with Palestine. That's where the problem lies. Because not everyone in Palestine is a member of Hamas.
No.
And there's many of this 6-year-old kid lived in Illinois. He's not fucking Hamas.
That's the problem, bro. That's the problem here because they're calling it a collective punishment. You know, they basically, so earlier this week or towards middle of the week, Israel called and announced all of the civilians, everyone to basically evacuate from the northern part of Gaza to the southern part.
Yeah.
Because they were literally they were saying, we're going to carpet bomb the northern part. Basically, evacuate or sorry. That was literally their announcement. And while they announced that, people are running for their lives. Let's think about who are the people. The majority of the people consist of children. The 2.2 or what's remaining of that population right now, majority of that is children. Kids under the age of 16 and kids under the age of 18 and younger. Because of the life expectancy rate over there, it's so low. So now you have 65% of that population are children. You're asking for those people, elderly, women, and 65% being children, you're asking them to evacuate. Okay. But then when they are evacuating, they're en route. You're bombing them? Footage has come out, bro. This is it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not false information. There is live footage from people that are using what little battery that they have left on their cell phones and recording live footage and sending out final messages saying, this is probably my final message. We're being told to evacuate, and then you're not hearing anything else from them. They're recording their final message and pleading to the world to step in and do something. While they're en route to escape to the southern part of Gaza, which actually, even if they escape to the southern part of Gaza, that little strip is so overpopulated. Where are you going to escape to? And what they're doing is targeted killing. Because when they told them to escape to the southern part, they've been bombing them on their route. On the route there, they've been bombing all of those civilians. Ambulances, schools, hospitals that house all of the injured civilians, they've been bombing those. Ambulances that came to people's aid, medical supplies, caravans that Egypt has been sending over, trying to get people aid, medical supplies, food, and water and whatnot. All of those caravans, the trucks of supplies to help those people, those people have been being blockaded or either bombed at the border, not letting them in. And they've just, this is also another footage that just recorded, just released, that one of the escape routes, one of the checkpoints, border patrol areas that could lead to Egypt, they bombed that area. So now they're leaving them no escape route. They're basically encircling them like caged rats, and they're telling them to go to the southern part. And then now that they're in southern part, they're killing all of the medical staff, ambulances that's coming there to try to help them. They're doing targeted killings of it. Dude, this is literally like it's genocide. By no means is this something that's right to do. If you are a human being, you got to have some kind of moral responsibility to be like, hey, we got to step in. There's over millions of people that's going to die. And most of them are just civilians and children.
That's insane. That's
I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, I also heard that UN is finally trying to step in. UN is whatever. I mean, everyone has their say about UN as well, calling them a bullshit organization and whatnot. But whatever. The point is that UN is also calling for a ceasefire, and they're calling it, it's an ethnic cleansing, and they're calling for a ceasefire. So they're trying to step in, but at the same time, they haven't done anything.
they
So,
just made
like,
an official report for like a ceasefire, or
an official announcement. And so what have they done? Like, have you stopped the bombing? Because it's still ongoing. So what is that official announcement going to do?
yeah.
You're they're continuing with their raids. One of the IDF generals, like commanders, basically said in a statement that we are going full force and we're going to erase Gaza from the map. That's their mission. That's their goal. It can't get more clear than that. And that statement is at this stage, like this day. This wasn't at initial strike. After the initial strike, they were so enraged and they were like, oh, you know what, we're gonna. No, this was days
current.
after. This was more recent and current towards the end of the week. This statement of a video of him coming out saying this. Just like, you're literally going to do what? Genocide on children, because that's what the majority of the population is there in Gaza right now. That's wrong. In anyone's book, I think that's wrong.
Right. No, that's horrible. And the worst part is like you said, a lot of the Western media is not going to hear that. They're not gonna get that raw truth of a false passage.
Yeah.
I don't know any way to describe it. That they're
And
telling the people to go, because I did see where they were telling the people to evacuate the north side and move to the south side, but I had no idea that it was pretty much an entrapment to.
Basically, I mean, they're leaving them no escape routes. They're asking them to escape, but then at the same time, en route, they're bombing them. Targeted bombing too, because they're literally killing the ambulances that's arriving to help them. Any medical team that arrives, they're killing them. Caravans that are arriving with food supplies, they're bombing them or blockading them from foreign nations that are trying to help the people that has the water, electricity, any sort of food, everything that has been blocked off to them. I mean, I would understand if you're going after like the Hamas group, right? By all right and by all means, go. They don't represent the Palestinian people, is what they keep saying. So why don't you send ground forces and snuff them out. Take those people out. Why are you indiscriminately continuing to bomb the rest of Gaza, the rest of its civilians, and justifying it? That Hamas group is among them. Hamas group is hiding in the hospitals. Hamas group is just about everywhere. And while we're on the topic of Hamas, this is also rumors and speculation that I'm not sure how much of this like the Israeli estate is claiming, but this is news that's been coming out that's saying that Hamas group was created by the CIA and the Israeli state, the Israeli government, in like 1987 to fight the PLO. The PLO was the Palestinian Resistance Army at that time. They were Palestinian resistance organization they were fighting at that time, and so the Hamas group was created by the Palestinian state and CIA jointly to combat the Palestinian Resistance Organization. And now they're using the Hamas group to wipe out the rest of Gaza? Like it's all pretty fishy and suspicious, man.
Yeah, it's
And
well,
then they want
it's not the first terrorist group that has come about of aid from U.S. and other places.
I mean, we all know there's been multiple different terrorist organizations that have popped up throughout the years, right?
Yeah.
And we all saw that later on.
They didn't turn out to be what we wanted.
Yeah.
And then now it's like, oh, now they're a problem, but it just becomes pops up as a group, like the Hamas did. Like you could probably say 3 weeks ago, majority of the U.S. by far, majority of like global didn't know what the word Hamas was.
Honestly, yes, it wasn't like people didn't really know too much about them.
And then when Hamas pops up, it's like, oh, these guys are bad. Yeah, these guys are horrible. Like, Taliban. Okay, Taliban were some horrible people were in the Taliban. They did some bad stuff, but we also gave them weapons and then left more when we left.
Yeah, why the hell that's another man, I don't like we left so many weapons there.
Yeah.
We left so much weapons over there, and now they're using all of those weapons against us, basically.
Yeah.
It's incompetence is what I call it.
That was a horrible way we left. It was absolutely terrible.
Actually, incompetence is actually putting it very nicely.
Yeah.
No,
that was...
While we're on the topic of the Hamas, rumor also has it that the initial strike that happened was an absolute embarrassment. Rumor has it that maybe because of the way it happened, right?
Yeah.
6 hours. It took them a little over 6 hours to basically breach by land, by sea, by the border, by air, paragliding, and all this. You got to take into consideration. You got to take into account that when you paraglide,
pretty visible.
When you and where are you paragliding? Literally, the Iron Dome is what they're calling their defensive system. Their intelligence system, Mossad, head of the intelligence department, it's considered to be the world's best intelligence. And you're saying that they didn't see this coming and they got caught by surprise. You have people paragliding for 5 to 10 minutes is the duration when they land. You're telling me multiple insurgents are paragliding over the Israeli estate and for 5 to 10 minutes, and you can't spot a single one of them?
I mean, there were so many cell phone recordings of people, and it's just like paraglide. It's just I was like,
right.
Who are parachutes? It's just like, and they were all colorful. It wasn't like they were like trying to camouflage, like be like blue.
Do you know Do you know
Was it a pride
how
parade?
difficult?
Some of them were actually even had the Palestine flag
Yeah,
as the
as
paraglide.
as their
I was like,
paraglider,
dog, how's that? How
Uh,
much more do you need
as
to
a
be?
parachute or whatever. Yeah, uh, basically just signaling, hey, we're here.
Exactly.
Don't shoot me. Let me land first. Like, bro, it's a joke. Honestly, it's a joke. When you have to take into consideration that how long does it really take for you to 6 hours, nothing over 6 hours, none of them were detected. None of them were detected. They were allowed to go through.
This is from Gaza
This is from the Gazan border
to West Bank.
to West Bank and the other settlements, inner city.
And then back.
And then they were able to take supposedly thousands of hostages back all the way across. Dude, you have to think for a second. You have to be able to use your brain, put two and two together. That's difficult.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to move.
That's a lot to move. And with resistance. You think these Israelis that you're taking hostage are just be like, "Yeah, I'll run faster than you on the other side. I'll catch up with you. You know, you're taking me a hostage. Keep running. I'm right behind you."
Yeah, no.
They're going to be resisting, right?
Yeah.
So when you have resistance and you're trying to take hostages and by a huge number, that takes time. That's difficult.
Right.
And for over 6 hours, you weren't able to detect any of them, any of these hostages, and they were just allowed to just come in and go through, wreak havoc, and then you started noticing what's going on. There's rumors that they're saying that there might have honestly been a stand down order
For when they were
from
invading
Netanyahu.
you?
Yeah, from the initial strike from Netanyahu and the Palestinian government. Sorry, the Israeli government. There's rumors that there might have been a stand down order, that this was allowed to happen. That there's rumors that there might even, if it wasn't allowed, there might be traitors amongst them that let this happen. Now, that's the speculation. That's the rumor.
That would be even if they had traitors, that would still be a hard task. I mean, there would have to be a lot of traitors.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing. That if there were traitors, right?
Yeah.
You're the world's top secret intelligence group. If you have traitors amongst you, you're a failure. You have failed at your job. You are not the world's top. If you have this big of an event happen to you,
Right.
all because you have traitors, that means you have failed like big time as the world's top, the world's best secret intelligence agency. How are you the world's best secret intelligence when you let something like this happen for over 6 hours? Nothing was detected. Thousands of your civilians were taken hostages.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's no way. To have a ceasefire, it sounds horrendous, but it almost is like you give them a reason, right? It's like, oh, you took hostages from us.
Yeah.
Now we retaliate.
So yeah, there's rumors that
so they took the hostages, went back to the Gaza Strip, and that's when Hamas had sent the missiles over?
No. So the missiles were also sent simultaneously. So this is what they're saying, that they were able to catch us by surprise because they were able to infiltrate us in the cover of the missiles fired at us.
Oh, okay.
That's the narrative that they're going by.
I don't know about you, but I don't think a paraglide moves as fast as a missile does. I think a paraglider might come down a little slow. That's a little.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Especially the checkpoint at Gaza,
Mm-hmm.
the border checkpoint over there. apparently their surveillance is so good. Israeli surveillance is so good, the IDF, that they can spot you half a mile coming towards
But they
the
missed
wall.
1,000 people.
They can spot you from like 100 yards, and they can and they'll when you approach, before you even approach, like, you've come to the checkpoint and whatnot, they'll announce, and like, the comms and whatnot, they'll address you by your name. Like, for example, like, if you were to go
They
there,
would just be like,
if
"Yo,
you're
Anthony, what are you doing?"
yeah,
Wow.
like, hey Ant, what are you doing here? That's how good their surveillance system is. That they'll spot you from that far out, and they'll spot you not just spotting somebody that's coming. They'll spot you by from the detail, like everything, by down from your name to your age to who you are and what family you belong to, and if you're a Palestinian or Israeli or whatnot, everything before you even arrive at the checkpoint. Their surveillance system is so good that if you touch the walls, they get an alert.
What the fuck? How did they get past? What? I mean, this sounds like some Transformer type stuff. How realistically did they get all of these hostages? Because they were said, and this is fact, that the hostages are in Gaza. Well, I'm not sure where in Gaza now, but
Who knows?
they were confirmed that they have hostages within Gaza, and then they were going to deploy SEAL Team 6
right.
to go and try and get them back.
There's been recent news that's come out that's said that unfortunately in the crossfire, hostages that they have taken, Israeli hostages that they have taken, have died. Some of them.
With the help of the SEAL team?
No, with their continuous bombing indiscriminately. Israelis indiscriminate bombing that's been happening in the
Yeah.
there-
Yeah, some of
so
the hostages
they've
have been
confirmed,
dying.
yeah, they've confirmed that unfortunately some of the hostages have died. Like, what do you think was going to happen
Right.
if you're indiscriminately just
Bombing
targeting?
areas.
And then it's not just, so there's one that they're indiscriminately bombing, and then there's targeted bombing as well. So they're able to, apparently they're able to identify, like, if a Hamas member is shooting from some building, they're able to identify that, hey, there is one Hamas member that has been shooting rockets at us from that building, that floor, that window.
I could see that. I could see them
That's
having that sort of
Yeah,
technology.
that's cool. That's fine. You have that technology and you're able to identify that. So why are you not deploying foot soldiers, and why are you not deploying your infantry to go deal with that? And instead, that entire building also consists of civilians, but
You bombed it.
you bombed the entire building for one person.
That's pretty excessive. I mean, I
They're
could
calling
see.
it collective punishment,
Yeah.
is what they're calling it.
Yeah.
I understand, what Hamas has done by, like, I want to emphasize this. Everything that the Hamas group is doing,
It's horrible.
it's absolutely atrocious.
It is. It's very bad. We're definitely not taking any sides one way or the other. Make that be very clear.
Yeah.
Definitely just taking a outside look and kind of just spreading all the cards on the table and just saying what it is, what it is, and this is what it is.
Basically, yeah, man. I mean, there's plenty of news that have come out, and we're just kind of over here, thinking to ourselves, hey, man, like, what's going on? So it's pretty crazy to me that all of this is happening, but little to no effort from outside intervention to have a ceasefire is taking place.
Yeah.
Because, dude, it's going to become
Genocide.
a graveyard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say this, and it's unfortunate that there are 65% children.
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible. They have nothing to do with this. They have nothing to do with the Hamas group and whatnot. You're killing innocent people.
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy to know that people are chanting for all of this. Like, there's footage of the Israeli populace, the Israeli
Civilians.
civilians chanting in their streets, raising the Jewish flag and whatnot, and chanting death to all Arabs. There was this woman called Eyelet or something. I forgot her complete name, but she was promoted by Netanyahu a few years back uh, to um, to a high-ranking position in the government,
Mm.
like Minister of Defense or something like that.
Yeah.
And statement, basically a quote from her was, "All all Palestinian mothers should die. All because they give birth to little snakes. Their infrastructure, their land, their elderly, their all every single person basically. Like I'm not gonna quote the entire thing, but basically saying every single thing, their entire Gaza and all Palestinians and what they hold dear and everything, all of them should be wiped out. All of them should be killed. You have someone like that has that kind of mindset. You're literally saying kill children, kill Palestinian children, kill the elderly, kill the women, kill it doesn't matter, kill them all.
That's insane. But that'll never get coverage, and that's
Not
the problem.
that'll never get coverage. That always gets if anyone tries to shine light on that,
They'll be cut off.
they're either cut off, they're either threatened um, from getting any kind of social media view, or they get banned, they get canceled, or they get shadow banned, where when you post something, your story or your posts, they will never get any views.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, this is social medias. These are social medias doing this. So like,
Mhm.
shame on them for doing something like that and like preventing the truth from being out there for people seeing it.
Yeah. No. That's a whole nother situation. That's
There's been footage of like literally Jewish people, um, like mainly just IDF soldiers,
mm,
beating their own beating their own Jewish brethren and sisters and their own civilians, beating them in the streets for the Jewish people protesting against the genocide.
oh,
The IDF is beating them in the streets, saying, shut the hell up,
yeah.
and like handcuffing them, beating them on the streets and whatnot, and like trying to silence them, their own people. And these are people that are in the state of Israel. There was This is not being talked about enough, but I think this can be, like, anyone can research this. All right, so just to go back on like where the Israelis and the Israeli state, the civilians basically being beaten by the IDF,
Yeah.
like, that's one thing, but now the IDF and the Israeli state government is handing out their civilians, like Jewish civilians,
Mm.
they're handing them out weapons, guns, and they're giving them the green light, go ahead, to shoot any Palestinians that you see is protesting or might get violent, or just, if you see anything of that nature, shoot to kill. So now they've armed their civilians to attack all of the civilian population, Palestinians that have nothing to do with the Hamas group. To
They're
shoot,
just Palestinians.
right? They're just Palestinians. To shoot to kill, and as a result, over 30 people have died. Over 30 Palestinians have been killed by the civilians, by the Israeli civilians in the Israeli state.
That's crazy. Because, I mean, you have to think, like, when you give a civilian who's probably never really handled a firearm before,
Yeah.
for one, that's crazy. I don't know how the Israeli government works. I know a lot of places you have to, like, I think I think even in South Korea, you have to be in the military for so long. You're just required to. And then then you get out. So, like, everybody has to do military training. So a lot of people are really handy with guns. I don't know if that's like that in Israel, but you then give them orders if they're getting too rowdy or if they're going to be violent, shoot to
Or
kill.
even if they're doing a peaceful protest in that part, like, shoot to kill.
Even if they didn't even say that part, like, you have to think like a regular civilian, be like, oh, when they're getting too violent, or you give somebody like a very gray area like that,
Yeah.
they're gonna shoot everybody they fucking see.
Especially at this time.
Yeah,
Especially at this
tensions
time.
are so high. They're gonna
Tensions
see
are-
another Palestinian, and words are then he's getting aggressive. Shoot him.
Yeah, I mean there's footages of the Israeli populace right now. They're just waving in masses. They're chanting death to all Palestinians, death to all Arab, death to all Palestinians. You arm those type of civilians with guns and just tell them shoot to kill. What do you think is gonna happen?
Right.
Now you're killing more innocent people. So it's a really, really messed up situation, man. Like, if there isn't a ceasefire soon enough, like, we will witness 2.2 million people that lived in Gaza no longer exist. It will be 2.2 million people genocide if there is no end to this. And from that commander or general leader of their IDF, from what we know from the statement that he gave out, apparently their goal is to eradicate Gaza, period, and everyone in it. So it seems like they have their mindset.
Yeah.
And then Iran, I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but Iran basically, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, Iran issued a warning
To the U.S.
to US and Israel.
Yeah, to stop, or U.S. will now see consequences.
Yeah. They will,
Which even
basically, in their words, they said if you guys don't stop this genocide, this ethnic cleansing, US will receive heavy loss. US will receive heavy losses.
And the way that's going to come out to most of the Western people is, oh, Iran's going to try and attack us.
Yeah. More fuel or
Yeah,
more
yeah.
fanning the fires
Flames.
even more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to come out so skewed. It's going to come out to a way to where it's going to seem, a terrorist group from Iran is trying to attack us, or Iran's government's going to attack us. And so many American people are going to see that, and they're going to just think of another outside force trying to attack us. But they're not going to know the details. They're not going to understand the balance of the situation. And granted, we don't need to piss off another country. We've done too much.
I honestly don't understand what the Biden administration and our government is thinking, to be honest with you. Like, do they not stop for 1 second and think, hey, if we're pissing off Iran even more, and Iran's no pushover, let's be clear, Iran is no pushover. So if we're pissing off Iran, and by no means, let me make that clear too, by no means am I a pro-Iranian or of any sort, But
We're just stating facts.
yeah, we're just stating facts here. If you're pissing off another nation like that is supposedly your enemy, and they're issuing warnings like this to you, do you not think that if you escalate this any further and actually go to war with Iran, who do you think is backing them? Who do you think is on the side, undeniably, on their side, on Iran's side? China and Russia. You best believe Russia is going to be like, all right, let's go.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You best believe China is going to be like, activate. And by activate, I mean all the military aged Chinese men, sleeper cells that have already infiltrated the US. That's a fact. No one wants to talk about that. And guess where they're coming from? The southern border.
It's gonna be like everyone's saying it's gonna be like Red Dawn. I don't know if you guys
Dude,
are familiar
Red
with.
Dawn is not far-fetched,
Yeah.
to be honest. It's
No,
not.
Not in these days. It don't seem like time to
No,
be ready for the boogaloo. I reckon.
Yeah. No one wants that shit, man.
No,
No
of
one
course
wants
not.
that. No one wants to be in this situation. And this situation right now, escalation of it will mean bigger consequences
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah.
In all parts of the world. So we have to do what we can to de-escalate this situation, man. Like, that's what I think.
Yeah. No, I definitely think we should. But remember what I said the first time when we first touched on it. I said, "Oh, can either go one of two ways. Either it's not going to happen, or Gaza will be gone, because
And
they're either going to come together and they're going to come to an agreement, or they're going to wipe off Gaza." And it seems like we're very, very close to wiping off Gaza in an unfortunate way.
I mean, have you seen the northern part of Gaza?
Yeah,
Have you seen the footages that's come out?
Destroyed. I mean, they're just frames of buildings.
It's literally what
Leveled.
they said is what they did.
Yeah.
They literally leveled the entire place.
Yeah. I mean, there's just bare buildings, even
They
like
haven't
pieces.
even. Yeah. I mean, because of the immeasurable destruction over there. The total death and injury count is not even accounted for at the moment.
Yeah.
So
they have to find them.
They have to find them from underneath all the rubble and buildings.
Yeah.
And you can't really find anyone right now when you're escaping, when you're continuing to try to survive.
Right.
So it's really tragic what's going on, and we need to spread awareness about what's going on. And terrorism is never a good thing anywhere.
Right.
We stand against terrorism always and forever, and stand against the people who advocate for terrorism. That's never a good thing, man.
Right. But
I don't know one person with two brain cells that would want to advocate for terrorism.
yeah.
And I also want to just mention and emphasize on the fact that people do need to wake up and get smarter. Get smarter, because this war that's happening, the Ukraine war, the Taiwan war, all the conflicts everywhere else that's happening, is rich people playing chess with each other. And they don't give two shits about the common folk and who is going to die while they're playing chess with each other.
Yeah.
This is the rich people's wars, and we're just casualty. We're just cockroaches for them. We're just pawns.
There's a saying, and it goes, old men make decisions while young men die.
Yeah. Think about it. Every single generation. Why is it that every single generation of young men, they have been continuously going to war? Think about it. You wanna recollect all of the wars that's happened in every generation, like the Vietnamese War, the World War II, and the Civil War, the Cold War, and just endless. On and on and on and on. Afghanistan, Iraq, and you just name it, Libya. You just name it. Every generation, they send our young men and women to war. Dude, why are we fighting rich people's wars? And who's
Sad.
benefiting from these wars? Military industrial complexes and the ones that are supporting them.
Yeah.
The ones that the check the military industrial complexes stocks right now. Check Raytheon's. Check General Dynamics, Boeing. What are the other ones? Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. So many others. Their stocks. Just anyone pull it up. You'll see what I'm talking about. They're the ones benefiting from this, and we're just collateral damage.
That's unfortunate, but it's true. It kind of comes down to that at the end of the day, because I mean, like with all these people in Gaza, they, I mean, half of them don't even really know.
No, they don't. No, half of them don't even know. And what people need to do is raise your voices against this shit, man. Raise your voices against the government. Raise your voices to your representatives for your states and whatnot, and don't advocate for more war.
Yeah.
Senseless fighting.
Yeah, it's a problem. Like I said, I'd say so many times, like so many people in the U.S. are gonna see like it's a war between, and they're just gonna see that there's bad people there. Okay, we got to take care of the bad people, and that's all we really hear. That's the extent of our knowledge, but it's the crossfire of the innocent civilians to the bad people
Right.
is such a heavy weighing difference that they're not gonna know. Well, that this news will come out years from now, 10, 5, 15 years from now,
Yeah.
that, you know, we were a part, or we, you know, in some form of way aided the state of Israel to potentially, you know, create a genocide on Palestinians.
Whether, yeah, I mean,
And then it'll be, oh, yeah, we did that. It was really bad. We shouldn't have. But then, you know, it'll just be like a lesson at school. And that'll be as far as it'll go.
yeah,
And
another
no
chapter in the
repercussion.
history books.
Yeah, no repercussion is going to be done. But enough people hear about it now and they understand what's going on. That's why we always say question everything. Just because you hear something, even in what you hear what we say, you should always question it. Because
Do your own research
every time. Because
every single time.
the moment you hear something and you think, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, is it crazy? How crazy is it? Is it real? You should check on it, because you see things online and people are like, oh, you believe everything you see online? No, you really shouldn't. You should
Yeah.
check things, and check it twice, 3 times.
God
Find
God
credible
gave-
sources. Don't just go to Google and just be like,
Dude, so
is
much.
Israeli bad? Okay. You can't do that.
The amount of censorship from Google and big corporations and whatnot is ridiculous too. So don't be smarter, dig a little deeper.
Right. Yeah. Don't be, if you really want to know, you have to take time to be able to dig into these kind of things, but it's going to be the outcome is already too bad, right? The outcome is already past the point of, all right, let's just clean it up. You know, let's tone it down. It's too far. It's already past it too far. Something has to stop immediately. But by the time enough people who need to hear what's happening in definition, you know, in the fine detail,
Yep.
it'll have been too late.
Yeah, and false propaganda is not helping it.
Yeah.
So it you know, the way I look at it is believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. That
Yep.
was my old motto.
Yep.
Now it's believe none of what you hear and none of what you see. Because there's footage of a burnt baby circling around in social media, burnt Israeli baby in an Israeli state, like they've burnt a and it is AI generated. That's been circling around, and it's you know, that's what's enraging. So now in today's day and age, it's not it's no more believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. No, it's none of what you see, none of what you hear.
Yeah, you got to do your own research. I
Do
didn't
your
know that
own
was
research and dig deeper.
So that is that what the whole thing Biden was talking about? The whole 40 baby is AI generated? Something
That
going on?
no, that's separate from the burnt
Ah,
from the burnt
another
baby.
AI
Yeah,
generated thing.
that
It
was
yeah,
that
it's
the
one of those
40
deep fake.
babies was a false claim, and then the AI generated of a little baby's burnt body. That's different.
Wow.
But and then there's footage of Israeli civilians in the Israeli state running their car over a bombed Israeli person's dead body, running the car over the dead body over and over again of a Palestinian. Dude, that's sickening.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's crazy. Like
And they're
that's
laughing and chuckling about it. This is in social media. This like it doesn't get talked about. And then we have people like Ben Shapiro and like-minded people like him who will deny these facts. And all his there's people like him that are like literally just completely biased. It's one-sided. So I implore people to do your own research, go a little bit deeper, dig a little deeper, and find credible sources to know the truth and stand on the right side of history, or at least not even if it's not the right side of history, stand for 65 over 65% of the of uh, Palestinian population right now in Gaza being children. Stand for those innocent lives that are going that's in danger and it continues to being bombed and killed. Stand for those innocent lives at least.
yeah.
That's injustice. So stand for justice at least for the innocent lives.
Yeah.
Is I'll rest my case. I don't know. Last thing I wanted to kind of touch on is this is also something that I came across yesterday was another earthquake happening in Afghanistan. I think this is the third or fourth now. This time it's even stronger. So this is the strongest earth of the previous ones, 6.5 magnitude, and at this point
Wow.
it's not even confirmed the death toll over there for that. Previously, it was over 2,000. Now, over 2,500, over 10,000 injured, over 500 missing. With this one, we haven't even had a total death count of injured, dead, missing with this 6.5 one that just hit. Dude, this is, and it's in the same region, Herat region, bordering. Herat region is bordering Iran.
They've had 4. This is the 4th.
I believe this is the fourth one
Wow.
in the same region in the span of 10 days.
10 days.
In the span of 10 days. I've never heard of something like this, man.
10 days
I've never
is
heard
crazy.
of multiple earthquakes within the span of 10 days, less than 2 weeks. I've never heard of this.
At that magnitude, no less.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some of the other ones were still pretty significant earthquakes.
Yeah, there was
Someone
one
like
that
less
was,
than 5.
I believe there was one that was like 4.6. Then there was one like 5.3, and then there was a 6.2, and then or 6.3, and this is a 6.5.
And let's say even a 4 point anything is, dude, that's scary.
The 4.6 and the 5.3 magnitude ones, the initial ones, and then the 6.2, 6.31 magnitude, the first three, with just those three, the death toll was already over 2,000, nearing 3,000 people dead, confirmed, over 10,000 missing. Oh, sorry, over 10,000 injured, over 500 missing. This one just hit. Dude, I feel like the world is imploding, man.
That's A lot.
What is going like? There's chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
There's chaos over there in Taiwan. There's chaos in Ukraine. There's chaos in Yemen with the starvation of millions of children over there, malnutrition and everything. There's chaos over here in Israel and Palestine. There's chaos in Afghanistan and everywhere. What is going on right now? Thoughts go out to all of the lives that have been lost
Yeah.
on both sides, on every single side. All the lives everywhere that has been lost. You know, thoughts and prayers to everyone. We'll keep an eye on all of this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like I say unfortunately due to the situation of what it is, but we'll probably revisit this as more unfolds, or hopefully maybe something comes to an end for the best.
Maybe we'll get some good news.
Yeah.
Maybe we can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel for all of this senseless killing.
Let's very much hope for something like that. But yeah, we definitely all thoughts are out to both sides, and it's a really tragic time.
Yeah. With that being said, Ant, you have anything else you want to impart?
Well, if you guys did make it this far in the video, we would greatly appreciate if you guys left a like on this video. Drop us a comment. Let us know your thoughts on this. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button to see anything else. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.